Carranza fouled, and frustratingly, Drew Yearwood, he fired a ball into the second or third row. He might pay a price for that. Let's see what Timothy Ford does here. He wants to personally apologize to the fan that was struck.
I don't know how good your hearing is, AJ, but you got about 18,000 people calling you an asshole.
Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day and a great Labor Day weekend so far. My name is Brian Barsoon. I upload YouTube content daily. I'll link all my socials down in the description below, but I just wanted to jump right into the news here as there's a lot of topics I want to cover. The first one was that intro I showed you in that clip, which was New York Red Bulls midfielder Drew Yearwood blasting the ball into the stands and injuring a young fan in the audience there. And obviously he was a little distraught after what happened and tried to go into the stands and to apologize. And that fan was not having any of it. I don't know if that was the parent or just another fan sitting beside them. And obviously you can hear some rather unpleasant chants towards the Red Bull midfielder. Pretty disgusting what he did there. I'm sure he regrets what he did there, but it happened in the 94th minute at the end of the game against the Philadelphia Union. He was obviously frustrated because the team was losing and then went ahead and kicked the ball into the stands. Obviously uncalled for, and he got what he deserved, if you ask me. But he was actually shown a red card because that was his second offense of the game, and that will be serving a suspension for a few games now, as per the rules. But he did come out with a statement at the end stating here, "I want to apologize from the bottom of my heart to the fans who were hit by the ball I kicked at Saturday's match. My emotions got the best of me on this day, and I've let down the entire organization and every single New York Red Bulls fan." I would say so. It's pretty ridiculous what he did there. But that story, just wanted to highlight that story. It was one of the crazier stories this week. But moving on here to some other topics I wanted to cover. This is another story that happened a day or two ago that this company should be shown a red card as well. The story from the Post Millennial: Colorado residents denied control of their own thermostats during heat wave. And this has to do with some smart thermostats from the company Excel. So Excel Energy customers in Denver, Colorado were locked out of adjusting their own thermostats on Tuesday, even as temperatures reached the 90s. So they did this claiming that it was an energy emergency and they could only keep their thermostats around 78, 79 degrees, which is still very, very warm. So I don't know what that would really do. I guess it would reduce it if it was like 110 degrees outside, but a lot of residents were upset. And apparently what happened is that they signed this in their contract and they voluntarily gave up this right. Because of emergencies, the company Excel is allowed to do this. Other circumstances, this happened other times in the past, and they were able to override it, but this time they were completely locked out, and they were not able to adjust their thermostats and caused a huge uproar. So it was about 20,000 Excel customers that were denied control of their smart thermostats. Remind me to never get a smart thermostat ever for hours, and were informed it was an energy emergency. And according to Romine, it helps everybody for people to participate in these programs. It is a bit uncomfortable for a short period of time, but it's very, very helpful. Maybe tell that to the people that were sitting in their houses sweating their you-know-what off. But just thought that was a very interesting story. And like I said, not going to be getting a smart thermostat anytime in the future, or I'm definitely going to be reading the contract and seeing if they do anything like this. But I just wanted to move to another energy story here, and this is internationally, having to do with the rising costs in Europe. So Germany has been greatly affected by the Russia-Ukraine war as they receive a lot of their gas through the Nord Stream 1 pipeline that comes from St. Petersburg in Russia to Germany. So the impending winter coming up, as when energy costs typically rise, Germany is trying to curtail this by announcing a $65 billion package to offset these energy costs. So just taking a look here, breaking it down, the package, much bigger than two previous ones, will include a one-off payments to the most vulnerable, so low income, and tax breaks to energy intensive businesses. And then just mentioning energy prices have soared since the February invasion, and Europe is trying to wean itself off Russian energy. Their reserves were around 50% a few months ago, and now are back up into the 80% range. So they're asking residents to cut their energy consumptions, but also looking to liquefy natural gas and to some other different methods to limit these costs. President Zelensky was, commenting, obviously, that he's claiming that Russia is doing this on purpose, which I did do a separate video on a couple days ago, where they have now turned down their pipeline for 3 days for the rest of this week due to maintenance issues. And this came from last month in July, where it was shut down from 10 days for a mandatory maintenance issue. Now, that one in July was planned. This one is more out of the blue, and it's causing continental Europe to suffer even more when it comes to energy prices. The UK is suffering as well, but this is mainly to do with Germany. That's from Politico. I don't want to read that. And let's take a look here. And this is talking about the commissioning of Nord Stream 2, which got shut off, obviously, and is not being commissioned at this time. So it's just a Nord Stream 1 pipeline. So we'll see what happens moving forward. And just one comment here. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz told journalists Germany would get through the winter and that Russia was no longer a reliable energy partner. So it looks like their tide's starting to turn a little bit when it comes to that, and companies are starting to become more independent and less reliant on Russian oil. So obviously a developing story, and we'll see what happens in the coming months and this coming winter. So moving on to a more interesting story of over the weekend. This happened yesterday. So there was a 29-year-old pilot in Tupelo, Mississippi. I'm not sure if they've released a name. Corey Patterson, age 29. He worked at an airfield in the area and proceeded to steal a multi-million-dollar plane, and then proceeded to, this was around 5 in the morning, and then flew around the greater Mississippi area, greater Tupelo area, and subsequent counties for over 5 hours, threatening to crash into a Walmart in the area. They were in constant communication with him. Citizens were warned about this ahead of time, and they evacuated the Walmart before anything happened. He kept circling and circling. They tried to get him to land the plane. He was about to land the plane and then proceeded to pull out and then flew again. Apparently flew around a Toyota production facility. And then after about 5 or 6 hours, he ran out of gas and landed in a field and then was arrested. The plane was okay. He was okay. No injuries. And he's going to be brought up on federal charges for grand larceny. But very, very interesting what's going on there. He even posted a Facebook message. Let's see if I can find it here. Well, the message did state that he was no intention to hurt anyone, and it wasn't his family's fault, and that he said goodbye, and then that was the last message. It was very cryptic and caused a lot of alert going on. Oh, here we go. In what appeared to be a final message, Patterson posted on Facebook, "Sorry, everyone. Never actually wanted to hurt anyone. Love my parents, sister. This isn't your fault. Goodbye." So that was the last contact, and then around 10 o'clock, they lost contact with the plane, crashed in the airfield. And then about 10 or 15 minutes later, they resumed communication with him and then proceeded to arrest him. So no other details have really been brought up on this. We don't know why he decided to do this, if he had a grudge with the company Walmart, or if he was a former employee. He apparently worked at this airfield for over 10 years and had they're trying to verify if he had a pilot's license, which it seems like he may have, but he maybe didn't know how to land the plane because they had to bring in a private aviator to assist with landing the plane originally before he backed out. So I remember watching this yesterday on the news, and I was like, what the heck is happening? So it was very interesting what happened there, and I'm sure we'll get a little more information. There's the gentleman in question there. There's the tweet that he posted, or message. And then there's the plane landing in the airfield there. So it happened in a field near Gravestown, Mississippi. And then it does briefly show the path here that I explained earlier. So he started in this area, then proceeded to go around here, then landing didn't occur, then kept going over here to Toyota Motor Manufacturing, and then landed somewhere up in here. So one of the probably the most interesting story, the weirdest story this weekend that I've seen so far. But just wanted to highlight that. Now covering the main story I wanted to go over in this video. It has to do with President Biden and his Soul of the Nation speech that he made on Thursday at Independence Hall in Philadelphia. If you were watching the CNN feed, as I was when it happened, there's something strange going on with the lighting there, and it's now coming out that CNN is being accused of editing the Biden's blood red background. It was very red for dark speech targeting conservatives. So if you see here, this was in the beginning of the speech. It was, just a normal red, and then around the 20-minute mark, it's changed to a like almost hot pink or a pink color. So I remember noticing that, and just didn't really think of anything of it, but it's coming out now that the CNN chose to do that because of the rhetoric in President Biden's speech. If you haven't listened to it, go check it out. It's very divisive, in my opinion. He's targeting half of the country, calling them MAGA Republicans, and that, in urging his support to go out and vote this coming November. But just was about a 25-minute speech, and it was, very interesting to say the least. But CNN chose to make this move, obviously, probably where they weren't happy with the rhetoric going on in the speech as well, and were trying to soften it up, so to speak. So it didn't seem as I don't even know what the right word would be, but not as intense, I guess, would be a better word to say, based on what he was saying. So just a little brief blip here from the Post-Millennial. Amidst President Joe Biden's speech on Thursday night regarding Soul of the Nation, in which he sent a majority of the speech declaring MAGA Republicans enemy of the state, CNN was exposed, changing the color of lights in the background from harsher blood red color to softer hot pink. And I was watching that feed, so I wasn't watching other feeds, but other people have come out and said that they didn't see this change. So it's a picture as well of the speech. Got Jack Posobiec here, who is on the right end of the spectrum when it comes to politics, and he said, holy bleep. He even did bleep himself, but I'm going to bleep it here. CNN edited the red background. So a lot of people on the Republican side are freaking out about this, rightfully so, because, a lot of that speech was directed at the Republican Party. Obviously President Biden being opposed to, former President Trump and his party. And obviously, even though he's not in power anymore, has significant influence with the party. And it's interesting that he's going after him. President Trump has not committed yet, as of the making of this video, if he's going to run in 2024. He's hinted at it several times, but has not made a formal announcement. But obviously, they feel like they're backed into a corner here, and that the midterms are coming up, and to me it sounds like they're a little bit desperate, and they're trying to grasp at straws here to make it seem that everything's rosy. If I can make another red reference. And just to comment one more thing here, the remainder of CNN's feed of the speech continued with the building being bathed in pink light, with Biden's skin tone changing to a pinker hue as well. And there's some other tweets describing it. So moving on, just wanted to cover the any updates with the Trump Mar-a-Lago raid, as that kind of ties into the previous story with President Biden. So this was from a day or two ago. The Department of Justice released a full inventory of the items seized in the Mar-a-Lago raid. And this comes off the back of the special master hearing that took place in West Palm Beach on Thursday. It still has yet to be determined if they're going to appoint a special master in the Mar-a-Lago case. But just to break down some of the items that listed here. So we have 33 items were listed as part of Exhibit A, with an accounting of what was contained within each item. So of the 33 boxes that they took during the raid, 16 had documents that were labeled secret, top secret, or confidential, with the remaining 17 containing personal items such as gifts or books. So half was things that probably would contribute to the case, and it seems like the other half are just personal items that they just took along with them. So now in total, it was 12,853 items were either documents or photographs that were not classified or research materials. So that was the additional stuff. So 54 documents were seized labeled secret, 18 documents seized labeled top secret, and another 31 were labeled confidential. So these are the main ones that we need to look at here: the secret, top secret, and confidential. Now, of course, the argument here is that the DOJ is saying that he violated the Espionage Act, and that, I guess they felt he was going to sell secrets about the U.S. Now, I can go into more detail about this, but just to keep it brief, that there's the Presidential Records Act, and Trump is arguing that he declassified all of these documents. So, there was no Espionage Act violation. Now, they might still try to get him indicted on obstruction charges, even though President Trump claims he was cooperating with the DOJ in reference to the return of these documents. So obviously still ongoing, just another layer here when it comes to this case. And so I just wanted to touch on this briefly. These were the photos that they staged when they took the documents. And these documents here in yellow, after doing research and listening to other journalists, these are just cover letters, the ones that say top secret SCI, and there's nothing underneath them. So they probably just put them there for a particular reason, but just wanted to highlight that as well. But finally, Trump did respond to the Mar-a-Lago search for the first time yesterday. He had a rally in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Obviously, Biden was in Pennsylvania as well this week, but he criticized the FBI. He was out there promoting the Pennsylvania gubernatorial race, or not the gubernatorial race, excuse me, the Senate race between Dr. Oz and John Fetterman. Oz being the Republican, Fetterman being the Democrat. So just briefly here, former President Trump held a rally on Saturday night in Wilkes-Barre in support of candidate Mehmet Oz. And just some of his quotes here: "The FBI and Justice Department have become vicious monsters, controlled by radical left scoundrels, lawyers, and the media. You tell them what to do," said Trump in reference to the search that took place last month. Obviously, went a little bit farther, going to explaining everything. The shameful raid and break-in at my home at Mar-a-Lago was a travesty of justice that made a mockery of America's laws, traditions, and principles, Trump said at the rally, calling it one of the most shocking abuses of power by any administration in American history. Whether you support him or don't support him, it is pretty shocking what they did. People have been calling it a banana republic type move. It's something you would see in like Cuba or in a different type of government in the world that we're not used to. People thought this would never happen in the United States. I agree. So it's interesting it's happened. Obviously, you can't go past that Rubicon, so to speak. So we'll see what happens with the case and with the special master being appointed. Hopefully we should get a update on that next week, and if we do, I'll let you guys know. That's going to do it for today's video. Comment down below on any of the topics that you found interesting. Like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. I'll have another video out tomorrow. It's going to be Labor Day, so it'll just probably be a shorter video. Decided to make this one a little bit longer today. Thanks for watching, and take care.